Hey guys, Tonic here. In the current PTS or public test server, the responders have taken over the White Springs Resort and renamed it to the White Springs Refuge. They are now using it as their main base of operations, and this really surprised me. Why would the Enclave just let them walk in and hang their banners, build new things, and use it as their main base freely? But after talking with some of the characters around the refuge, I've found some pretty interesting information about all of this. Now before I go any further, I do want to give a quick spoiler warning, because again this is all on the PTS, so it is not in the live servers yet, and we are going to be diving into some dialogue and terminal entries. But with that being said, let's get into it. So to start this off, we are going to want to go over and talk to Rucker. She is the leader of the responders in this area, and she can give us a bit more information about the refuge.
Thought you might. Go on ahead.
So here we are going to do Tell Me About the Refuge.
Nice enough place. Heard it used to be some kind of fancy trading post before the war. Can't say I'm overly fond of this management that Orlando's wrapped up in, but I got work needs doing, and I'm not one to turn down a safe place to do it in. I'm also not in love with all the hammering and drilling they got going on, but I'm not complaining. Well, starting now, I'm not.
Now from this, we learn that Orlando is still talking with the White Springs management, and from this we can ask about the others in the refuge.
Depends on who you mean.
And here we have an option to ask about Orlando.
Hell, I can't get Orlando to tell me about Orlando. Not that I'm ungrateful for the space they're giving us here, mind you, but I've never met this management they go on about. And I don't trust anyone who can't or won't show their face.
Now this is about all of the information on management and Orlando that we can actually get from Rucker, but she does have a ton of other dialogue about their mission and the other responders in the area. Now moving on from here, I thought that we should just head over to Orlando's office and speak with them, and on my way over I got a random dialogue talking more about Orlando.
Orlando is very charming, but to be honest with you, I'm not really sure why they're helping us.
So there is definitely something going on behind the scenes with Orlando and management, and heading over to the management office we can find Orlando humming behind the door.
My dear, it warms my heart to know that you remain safe after such dangerous travels. What can we do for you?
Here we can say, I want to know more about management.
There is very little I'm permitted to speak about, but ask away, dear.
Who exactly are the management? This seems fishy.
My dear, nothing would bring me more joy than to answer your questions. Your suspicions wound me. However, my employer values their privacy as highly as they value the fine work the responders are doing here. Suffice it to say, they are the owners of the White Spring, as I believe I've mentioned.
From here we can say you really can't tell me anything about your employers?
Darling, I wish you would not press on this issue. I value our burgeoning friendship, but you place me in an awkward position. Oh, that disappointed look on your face. You do know how to weaken my resolve. What can I say? It would be terrible if I were to betray one trust to secure yours. You wouldn't want that for your Orlando, would you? I can tell you this. They are believers in the American dream, one they wish to see restored. The refuge is a small step on that path.
So this sounds a lot like the Enclave. The American dream is specifically mentioned. But continuing on, we can ask how they are helping to restore that dream.
I won't speak to their minds, my dear, but I will tell you what I believe, and I hope that will be sufficient answer. America was meant to be a land of opportunity. A place where anyone could find a freedom to build a life worth living. The refuge is a first step to rebuilding a society bigger than any one settlement. To say, we are in this together. Forgive me, darling. I do get a bit emotional on the subject.
So again, this all just sounds like some Enclave stuff, which is pretty exciting. It's actually really cool. But behind them you can actually see a terminal, and on that terminal is some more information. So here we have personal logs and logistics. Now starting out with the personal logs, there really isn't much here. It just says no personal logs found. But going back into the logistics, there is some pretty cool information. Here we have inventory requests approved and pending review. Going into the approved, we can see that they are asking for a ton of stuff. They are asking for food, they are asking for some water, they are asking for some clothing, some tools, and a ton of medication. It says right there 35 bottles of anti-radiation medication. Now this one has been approved, but the other one was still pending review. So heading into the one that's pending review, we again just have a ton of stuff. We have some aircraft things, some medication, some surveying equipment, a ton of firearms, and we also do have a note. Now the note reads, Note 1. Miss Lennox winked at me and smiled at making this request, adding, could be a lot of fun under the right circumstances. Though I am unclear on her meeting, I have filed the request per usual. Now, Lennox is actually the old Air Force pilot who does fly the vertibird back and forth from the pit, so that is pretty cool, but continuing on here we have Note 2. This came from our guest, Mr. Rorich, who when asked if the White Springs could provide anything to aid his Union compatriots, specified, and I quote, big honking guns, you know what I'm talking about. In the interest of good faith, I have submitted this request to the owners in more formal terms, but I have likewise attempted to make clear to him that our assistance is more conventionally in a non-offensive capacity. Now from all of this information, it definitely does look like the Enclave is involved with this in some way. I couldn't really find anything else. I did try running around the White Springs bunker, I did try talking with MODUS and everything, but there isn't any new dialogue there. And I also did do another expedition trying to look for things that reference the White Springs management or the Enclave, and I couldn't really find anything, so I think that this is mostly all of the information that we have right now. And again, this is just the PTS, so there could always be new dialogue lines added with MODUS in the future or with other characters, but for now this is pretty much everything, and I think it's safe to say that the Enclave is up to something. We don't really know what yet, but it does seem like they are involved with these expeditions in some way. But now let's get into the theory part of this. Personally, I think that the Enclave is using the responders as scouts. I feel like they're kind of sending the responders to these areas to check it out, see if there's anything going on over there, because we are going to be getting some more expeditions in the future. So maybe they're just kind of using us to go around, check things out, see if there's anything serious in those areas, and maybe at some point in a later mission, Orlando will actually pull us to the side and say, hey, I need you to do something, I need you to go put this tracking beacon here, I need you to bring me back a sample of some trog blood or something like that. I'm really not too sure, but there's a lot of really cool possibilities with this, and it gets me kind of excited. Hopefully in the future we do end up getting a nice Enclave DLC with this, maybe even an Enclave focused expedition. There's a ton of really cool building blocks here for something great, and again I am just stoked about this. But that is pretty much going to be it for this video, just a quick little one. I thought that this was all pretty cool and exciting, and I really wanted to share it with all of you. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider subscribing, it helps out the channel a ton, and as always I would like to give a massive thank you to all of the channel members: Prince Julius, Victrix, Cody Craig, Robert Kennard, Argent Deer, Shaky Hands Workshop, Yosevated, As Death 93, Dalton Murphy, Axel, Kevin W, Anna S, Fallout McFly, Networkgate, Golty, Wandering Wastelander, Lanthar, Captain Awesome, Citizen Girl, Heather Henderson, Patrick Ruda, 23 Icefire, Jay Smith, Bowser Double Frang, Ice Cream Manny, Chris Decker, Theodore, Digital Aardvark, Christy Mel Schwitz. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and have a great day.